Postal Brain Damaged. Is it worth a buy? Let's read the words. On Steam. Postal Brain Damaged is a new action-orientated take on the Running with Scissors cult game series with throwback graphics and fast-paced modern gameplay. Take a wide roller coaster ride through the twisted wonderland encased in the postal dude's messed up mind.
Give us a big fucking gun, a big fucking gun, a big pile of elephant dung. Who gives them? Give us a big fucking gun, a big fucking gun, give us a big pile of elephant dung.
That concludes my review, guys, of Postal Brain Damage. I'll see you in the next one. I literally could. That's all you need to know, guys. This game has some big effing guns. Really big guns. But before we get into the guns, let's just have a quick overview of the game. It's a 90s kind of quaky shooter. It's a Twitch kind of shooter, this one. It's fast pace, electric pace, unless you choose to play sometimes like a bit of a pussy, like I have on a few occasions, funneled them into a choke point simply because I'd run out of health and I was low on ammo, and it was the best way to get through the actual rest of the level. But most of the time you are just flying around, literally flying in midair around, shooting people in the face with a 12 gauge sawn off shotgun. It's bloody great. It's great fun, guys. Having an absolute blast playing this. It's such a throwback. I mean, people call these boomer shooters, but you know, boomers is people who were lived through the war. You know, you know, we didn't even have freaking computers then, in the sense that we have them now. So I don't like that boomer kind of shooter thing, because it's Generation X, man. It's, you know, Billy Idol. Mac, it's different Generation X. What are you talking about? That's a group. But it's the 90s kind of shooters without the pixels. Without the, you know, normally you get games like this that's a throwback to Quake, Heretic Hexen and all that, and you just get pixels, big square pixels. This doesn't have that. I mean, it's not groundbreaking graphics, but I'll take this any day over that pixel shite that you get. And I think that's one of the reasons that I've enjoyed this a little bit more. I mean, the gunplay is phenomenally good in this. It's really good. You get that sense of oomph when you fire your weapons. The noises are meaty. Great SFX in this game. And all the guns are pretty good. There isn't a bad weapon. Even the dildo launch is good. Yes, you have that's your sniper weapon. You snipe with dildos. But you've got a pistol, which is good, and it's also got an alternate fire of locking on, which I never use. You've got a fantastic shotgun, which is pretty much the Doom shotgun. It has the grappling hook on it as well. I actually prefer this one to the Doom one. It's just preference. You've got a machine gun, which also can slow down time. At least I think that's the one that slows down time. I don't use many of the alt fires. I'm just too busy sticking my lips out and firing the guns in the normal fire mode. You've got a rocket launcher, which also is a grenade launcher. You've got an electricity gun, which is great, because when you fire the alternate fire on that, it fires a brain, and the brain does AoE damage. It saved my life so many times. Really good. There's a few others which you'll see during the course of the video as well. The enemies, there's a huge amount of enemies in this. There's basic stuff that you can just smack in the face with your kick, or you just shoot them in the head with your pistol. Then you've got a lot of the stuff that belongs in Doom, the Coca Demon thing, which fires out the little skulls. Only this fires out clown faces, which is apt for the year that we're in, 2022. It's clown faces do well in this. You've also got shit monsters that just look like a big piece of shit that fire shit. You've got these little drummer robots that they're horrible, because while they're playing the drum, they are spawning mini versions of themselves. So if you don't take them out quick, you'll just be getting a never-ending wave of little drummer robots coming at your face. You've obviously got the sex reference monsters, because it's Postal. You know, you've got the Postal dude and his foul language and his innuendos and all that. So hence the dildo freaking crossbow. You've got bondage kind of women that you fight, all that kind of stuff. Now the thing that makes these kind of games good is there's three things really that you really want to know when you're buying stuff like this. What's the gunplay like? Well, it's great. What's the enemies like? They're pretty good as well. And what are the levels like? What's the level design like in this game, in the balance? So Mac, that's four things. Well, the levels are all handcrafted, as you would expect. There's 3 chapters to this, and I absolutely love the design of the levels. I think they're great. You've got secrets that are really tough to find, and some that are pretty obvious in your face. But there's nothing glowing. There's no X-ray vision. It's all purely down to you exploring the levels and finding the secrets. And you do get amply rewarded if you do. You'll find a lot of ammunition in there. You'll find a lot of health and things like that. So it's well worth looking behind them boot cases, pulling on them little boots, you know. All reminded me of Wolfenstein, you know, when you had to shoot Hitler in the face, and that would on a picture, and that would open up a little secret compartment somewhere. Well, it's that kind of stuff in this. The developers have clearly thought a lot about this and made the levels really nice. There is some barren areas that you'll come across in some of the levels, which is a bit odd, but a lot of the time there's well-stocked enemies. Not as much ammo as I would like, and certainly not as much health. If you're playing it on the higher levels, I constantly ran out of both in a lot of my weapons. A couple of times I got down to my final shots of my last weapon, which was really shitty. But then you can always lob your dick out and piss napalm on them if you have the fire bottle, because you have a lot of sort of power-ups that you can carry, such as weapons akimbo, which whatever weapon you're using, if you use that power up, you will get akimbo weapons for about 30 seconds, which is great. You can carry ammo boxes that automatically fills up your selected weapon. You've got armor. You've got these bottles that when you drink it and piss on people, it turns them against each other with like hypnosis and all that. And like I said, you got the fire bottles and a few other little tricks that you can actually pull when you're out there. So there's plenty of stuff to use against the enemies, but they've got a shit ton to fire back at you. Some of them are devastating. You can just die so fast in this game. I think the worst ones are these laser, they're like they've got like a pyramid on the heads, and they just fire this continuous beam at you. And when you get stuck in that beam, if you can't get a barricade between you and them or kill them, they'll take you out in seconds. And I think they're the things that I hate the most. And when you're flying around fighting lots of different types, you've got to adapt your weapon, because you can use a shotgun for everything, but that means getting really close and personal with them, which can be deadly. With some of them, they can just one-shot you if you're up close. So you've got to be switching weapons, but you need your grappling hook, which is on your shotgun, to keep flying around, because if you keep still or if you're not moving very fast, you'll be taken out again. It's quite a brutal game, but it's a hell of a lot of fun. It really is a lot of fun to play. It reminded me of, like I said, the old Quake games and modern games such as Doom Eternal and things like that. There's a bit of politics in the game as well. They have a bit of a dig at Trump's wall and a few other nitpicks at stuff like that. Pretty much one-sided as well, which is a bit of a shame. I'd rather you just didn't have politics in games. I don't play games for politics. I play games to get away from the fucking politics. So yeah, just keep politics out of games, please. But if you are going to put politics in, make sure you have a go at both sides, or that just makes you look like one of these spineless yes men, doesn't it? As for the game though, brilliant stuff. Really enjoying myself with it. I've played a lot of these kind of throwback shooters, and this is right up there with the best of them. This is my kind of shooter. There's a few bugs in it. A few of the dead bodies get tangled up. That's pretty much. There was once there was one of the enemies just stood there and did nothing. But that's it. That's all the bugs. So it's not a buggy game in my experience, but it is a fun game in my experience. Greatly voiced as well by the original Postal guy. Great sound effects, decent levels, really good fun weapons, and some really good monsters. Definitely worth a buy, and I think you can grab it on Green Man Gaming as well. Check the link in the description. You might get it at a bit of a discount if you do, and you'll be helping the channel as well. So if you want a good old-fashioned throwback shooter, check out Postal Brain Damaged.
Double the fun.